If we look at the types of Australians that have moved to One Nation, they're overwhelmingly a group who have historically voted for the Liberal Party. They're largely in the regions, in the outer suburbs of our large cities, largely in their 40s, 50s and 60s, work with their hands or work by standing on their feet, so to speak. If we're talking about Gen X, these are people who had their lives significantly disrupted during the recession of the 90s. Therefore, what happened with a lot of these individuals is they entered the workforce a little bit later than, I would say, university-educated Gen Xers. The majority that I'm talking about here have got significant mortgages, lots of mortgage stress, declining capacity to earn money because of their age and their location.
So what can they see in the fringes that they can't see in mainstream politics at the moment?
This group, in their 30s and 40s were voting for John Howard. They thought that if I worked hard, this political party promises me an economic narrative that hard work rewards aspiration. They were Howard's battlers. They were very patient throughout the Abbott, Morrison, Turnbull era. Again, they were patient leading up to the federal election with Dutton. And I think the election loss and coupled with a realisation of the scale of Labor's win was a straw that broke the camel's back.
So the scale of the win meant that they couldn't see themselves anywhere in mainstream politics. And so they've turned to One Nation. Does One Nation actually solve any of their problems for these voters, though?
The answer is no, they don't. But that's not why they're voting for One Nation. And they don't care if One Nation has some dodgy candidates or policies that don't stand up to scrutiny. This is about burning the place down. This is about throwing the chessboard over and sending a very clear signal to the established political parties that they're done with tolerating this version of democracy. And we see this writ large in the UK and other Western countries where these types of voters have given up on the system.
A lot of people assumed that the popularity of what were formerly fringe elements of the political landscape would dwindle once boomers started dying out, but we've seen Hanson support rise to unprecedented levels. What do you attribute that to, given that Generation X were born into multicultural Australia? Does their support for Hanson mean that Hansonism is here to stay?
It's very important for us to find these Gen Xers who are reporting to us that they've got intent to vote for Pauline Hanson as not conservative, but anti-establishment. Right? And that's the difference here. They're not interested in established conservative politics. That's not what drives them. And of course, there's 35% of them in our research of Gen X that want to do this. Of course, there's 31% who are planning to vote Labor. So it is quite a polarised generation. But in the middle, and sandwiched completely out of the picture, is the Liberal Party.
So I get to say, Kos, that there's a fair degree of disestablishmentarianism going around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tear the place down, burn the place down is the mindset out there at the moment.